Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Ljs Garage, and behind me is a 2003 Corvette Z06, and this is a very special episode to me because I love the Corvette. So forget about the C8 for right now. We're going to talk about the C5 and why it's an awesome sports car bargain. The first thing I want to say is that the C5 is a generation from 1997 to 2004. Luckily for us, in 2001, Chevy decided to bring back the Z06 nameplate and gave us this beast. So what do you get when you get a Z06 over a base C5? You get more power, obviously. You get better suspension, better wheels, and just look at this car. I mean, you get so much more, even though it's only on paper like 60 horsepower or so, but this car has a different kind of street presence. One of the first things that I want to talk about is everyone knows that the base C5 had the whole hatchback thing going on and it had a removable roof. You'll notice that this is actually a fixed roof, and there was a year where Chevy actually made the fixed roof coupe that wasn't a Z06. Starting with the front end, actually before we even get into that, if you're wondering what this color is, it's Millennium Yellow, and it's one of my favorite colors. I wouldn't live with it, I'd date it, but I wouldn't marry it. But this is a great color nonetheless, and I'd actually go with like the red, the torch red or something like that, or the Speedway white, I don't know. It doesn't matter what I think, but I'm gonna show you guys around this car a little bit more and point out some of my favorite things about the Z06. Many Corvette owners, what they like to do is they'll upgrade the lighting, and some of them will even go so far as to remove these pop-up headlights, but that's one of my favorite things about the C5 generation. The downside to the pop-up headlights is that they don't last very long with the stupid plastic gears that come from the factory, so you have to upgrade them to brass. Not a hard process, and I actually have a video of me doing that in the videos and all that stuff below. Even though these looks aren't for everyone, the majority of people will look at this car and they won't realize that it's a 99 or a 2003. They don't realize that the C5 has aged really well, so it looks like a modern sports car, and it has the looks that are gonna last a long time. Can't say enough how gorgeous this car is. For those of us that aren't fortunate to live in a state that allows us to not have a front license plate, it kind of sucks, especially when cars come with this big cutout and a big hole right here for your front license plate when you don't have one or need one. So I like that on the Corvette, when you don't have your front plate, you can actually just put this little placeholder in there, and it looks a lot better than having a big old gap that is missing a stupid front license plate. A really interesting thing to me, I don't know why, but these wiper blades, whenever they, do their wiper blade things, instead of a sprayer shooting water out of nowhere, like you won't see a sprayer anywhere, the sprayers are actually on the wiper blades themselves, so as it moves, it sprays. It's kind of cool, random thing. The amount of engineering that goes into making an awesome car like this is, like, I can't even imagine. And one of those things that I want to point out is that you've got this brake duct right here, and all it does is it feeds air right up in here, comes all the way around and right through, so that when you're hitting those track days nice and hard, you can keep your brakes a little bit cooler than you would if you didn't have this brake duct cooling system. And to think that you have a car that's 25,000 or less that's able to have that kind of technology, and it's affordable, and this car is easy to maintain, it's great to take care of, that's kind of stuff that makes this such a great bargain. You'll notice that these are not the stock wheels that come with the car, and the stock wheels actually look really good, but it doesn't take a whole lot to dress this car up and customize it to the style that you like. I actually am a huge fan of these wheels, and they just make the car sit real nice. So I want to take a moment to talk about this badge right here. So you've got the Z06 405 horsepower. The first year that the Z06 came out was in 2001, and those models actually only had about 385 horsepower. So as of 2002 and forward, we got 405 whole horsepowers. So I'm going to stop at the door as we make our way around this car. You'll notice that this key fob has this little thing on there. So it's an intelligent key of some sort. Back in the day, I don't know what they called it. But basically you could do passive unlock, so you walk up to the car, it senses the key in your pocket, it'll unlock, lock the door, all that cool stuff. So here we are in 2019, and this car had this technology in 2003. So it makes you feel like you're living in the future with a car this badass from the past. Now if you take a look from the back, I love the Corvette because the stance is so wide. You can fit these 305s on here, and these are nice meaty tires. They just look good, man. So now that we're in the back of the car, we're gonna go ahead and pop this trunk, and I'll show you guys kind of what to expect as far as rear cargo space. And there's actually a good bit, and if you look close enough, you can actually see you can get right down into the compartment. Let's take a look what's under the hood. You'll notice that a lot of this is not stock at all. Under the hood is a 5.7 liter V8 that makes 405 horsepower. The only transmission option is a 6-speed manual. In order to save some weight, the engineers decided that it would be best to actually fit this with a titanium exhaust. So listen to how this sounds. This one is not factory, but it'll give you an idea of how great the Z06 can sound. No Corvette is complete without quad tips. For those of you that go dual, you're just wrong. Honestly, I could talk about the outside of this car all day long, but let's go into the interior and show you guys some things. So I've got to talk about some negatives. And the first thing I want to say is that a lot of people, they'll get in this car and they'll realize, oh, it's from 2003. So they kind of realize that basically you realize that the car has started to age as far as the interior goes. This is where, you know, you want to start doing some modifications. You want to do the double din, you know, installs. You want to get a backup camera. You want to do those things. If you don't care about any of that, then this is the car for you right here. So this is what everything looks like from the driver's standpoint. Gauges are nice. Everything is cool. The steering wheel's comfortable. Seating position's just right. And look at these seats. The seats are spectacular. If you've seen any of the base Z06s or any stock Z06s, you'll notice that some of these things aren't stock, which is okay. Like this shifter, this is aftermarket, but all these things are easily done, easily attainable. And you even got dual climate control in a 2003 for under $25,000. Great deal. This button right here, this is how you make the magic happen. This makes magic happen. You guys might not be able to see this very well, but this does have heads-up display. So you can actually get like shift lights and RPMs, all that good stuff, your speed on a 2003. Because this car is so loud, we're gonna do this one a little different. The car is off and parked, which is kind of unorthodox, but we're gonna make it work, right? The first thing I gotta say is this transmission, it's spot on. It is awesome and it's a pleasure to drive. I miss having cars that are so attached and focused to driving, and this just brings back the good memories. This brings back the fun. You're connected to the road, you feel everything. That brings me into the steering. The steering is precise, fun, just, it's a pleasure to drive this car. That's all I can say. After being back inside of a C5 generation interior, with all the modifications the owner has done to this one, I've got to say Ryan's done a good job, and it feels modern. It doesn't feel like a 2019, but it feels something closer to like a 2014. Which brings me into my next point, in that there's so much available in the aftermarket for the C5 that anything that you want to do, someone's either done it, or they know the steps to do it, or they can point you in the right direction to a company that has the parts or the know-how. And so really there's plenty of how-tos on everything that you can imagine that you want to do to your Corvette. You can make these anything that you want. You can turn this into a track car and beef up the suspension, change up the tires, and get this ready for handling. Or if you're a badass, you can get this ready for the quarter mile, build it, supercharge it, turbocharge it, twin turbocharge it, do anything that you want, and I guarantee you that this LS will handle that without problems. So I was looking into it and I was wondering, you know, is the C5 a future classic or anything like that? And it will be. Certain ones, low mileage, all of that good stuff, you know. However, I didn't realize there were like 250,000 C5s of all flavors and combinations that were made. So it's not really a rare car, which makes it great for us buyers, right? Fun fact for you guys, the base C5 actually has a higher top speed than this, and it's all because of how the gearing ratios are all set up. But I think that's pretty cool. So the base C5 I think was 175 mile an hour top speed. Pretty impressive. Last but not least, I want to talk about the weight of this car. 3,100 pounds or so, and compared to like a 3,500 to 3,800 pound Mustang GT, this thing is a lightweight. So you've got good power in a lightweight car, amazing handling. I really, really wish that I had decided on the Z06 with this glorious 6-speed, and now I'm kind of having buyer's remorse and wishing that I had this car. It's also really impressive that this car gets the gas mileage that it does. It's able to get up to like 26, 28 miles per gallon on the highway with 400 something horsepower. That's pretty nice. It's been around for so long that everything that I'm saying has been echoed And so I'm gonna leave you guys with this and just say that I enjoy the C5. I enjoy the C5Z specifically in this day. And the Bose sound system, the nicer interior, the aftermarket bits, the potential that this car has. I would tell anyone, if you have the budget and can afford one of these, take away the Mustang and add this to the list. You know, actually bump it to the top of the list. So if you guys disagree with me, let me know. But I'm telling you, the Corvette Z06, it's it. Thank you guys for checking out yet another video in LJ's Garage. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, that like button, and comment down below as to what your thoughts are on the Corvette Z06. Thank you guys, and stay tuned till the next episode.